What I found was that all of the feeds that come out behind the heater control and the radio are the positive, the 12 volt line is on all the time. And I guess I noticed there's a CAN bus connection to everything. There's CAN bus into the heater control and CAN bus into the radio. So obviously that is the thing that controls whether you can switch it on or off while the ignition's on, I guess. Anyway, eventually I found this. This is the power for the cigarette lighter, or cigar lighter as they say in the manual. And that comes on when you press the key in and then you just press the start-stop button for a short period. So that makes all the all the display come on, and that comes live at that point. So I've spliced into that, and I'm going to use this cable and take it up through the back of the dash, and that will be the thing that feeds the instruments. The only thing is, I would imagine it's got quite a big fuse in it, so I may swap out the fuse for a lower amperage, because it's probably a 30 amp. I don't know, maybe not 30, but being a cigar lighter, it's probably quite high. So, and looking at the thickness of the wire, so what I might do is I might swap the fuse out for a lower value, but it is fused, so it's reasonably safe. Okay, it's Saturday, and I'm going to try and sort out the wiring for my my gauges, which I've partially done. I've now got the switched positive supply for each gauge sorted out. The earth feeds, or the sort of switched and variable earth feeds that come from the sensors here, so that's all done. I have to put a ground feed into back of each of the gauges. There was a ground feed that came into this area for the radio, but it ran all the way to the back of the car. In fact, it runs all the way back to this point just here. This is the earth, or the ground feed for the radio. I think it's probably done that way to enhance the performance of the aerial on the roof, but I'm not completely sure. Anyway, I don't need that. So there was another earth into the base of the passenger seat. So I've pulled that through, and you can see it comes into this earth block in the passenger footwell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed that back across, and I'm going to feed that into the back of the area where I'm putting the gauges. I've mounted this bus bar thing. I couldn't get a drill in there to drill it, and I can't get a drill from underneath to drill for the mounting bolts. So what I've done is I've araldited it in place. This is a plastic outer case, so I've araldited that in, and I'm just going to now connect up the main earth that comes from the earthing point in the footwell. I'll connect that up to this big terminal here. These come undone, and then I'll put the separate earths in for the instruments, and then there's a plastic cover thing that goes over this. So the main thing I was worried about was, would this clear the front panel, which is the heater controls? And in fact, the heater controls aren't very deep, they only go back that far. So this clears that, and it doesn't foul on the gauges, so we're all good. So that's it all in place and cabled up. I've discovered what the two screw holes are for. They're to hold in this this sort of shrouding that goes around the outside of the radio and air controls, heating controls. So that's it, complete. That is just wiring that up, and I had a few setbacks. That's taken me about another 2.5 hours. So a step further on, now I've got the seat back in and all the dash is reassembled. I've got to put this part on the bottom of the steering column, but I want to check the ABS first before I start putting that back together. So my plan now is to plug my code scanner into the OBD socket there and check out the codes. I know I'm going to get a load of ABS codes because I've removed the up here I've removed the airbags that go along the along the roof line. So I've got one airbag each side which is missing, so that'll trigger a scan, a code. And then the seat restraining gas canister that tensions the seat on a crash, and also the side airbag that's on the seat, both of those on the passenger side. Obviously on this side I've got all that in place, and you can just see the airbag panel there, and I have no reason to think the seat restraint thing doesn't work. So that's my next job.